Suzuki in. Score!
The Montreal Canadiens are proud to select Ivan Demidov.
Good evening, everybody. Happy Monday, January 6th. Happy 2025 to you all. Welcome to the first episode of the Curfew Boys in the year 2025 in what was an exciting hockey game. It's another post-game show, by the way, of the Curfew Boys podcast. An exciting night, an exciting time, a great start to 2025. Please, hockey gods, let this continue. Myself, Sammy, with Anxious Anthony, and my cousin Chris. Yeah, my crusty cousin Chris. My cousin Chris. I can't edit this because we're live on YouTube and Twitter, also known as X. I'm gonna take that one. I owe $1 or whatever amount in the mess up jar. Gentlemen, hey now, how are you?
Hey now. Happy New Year, boys.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I hope you guys had a good time in the holidays. Who's gone back to work? Who's off like I am? Because my schedule's messed up, and so are my sleeping patterns. But how are you guys doing?
Good. Finally detoxing, back on track. I've been eating like shit, drinking like shit. You know, the normal holiday feeling, I guess. But now it's time to get clean again. How about you guys?
Time to get clean. Do you need to go to rehab? Or like
rehab to
rehab or detox? Well, we had the Italian holidays, so we know what that's like. It's just nothing but food and booze. Food, wine, grappa.
Christmas and New Year's is not just a one-day event; it's a 14-day event.
It's a 14-day event. It's yeah, exactly. For those that come from European backgrounds, or it doesn't matter, any background for that matter. Hope you all celebrated time with your family. It's it's what's important nowadays, and it's those moments that you appreciate and you look back on and hopefully puts a smile on your face, no matter how functional or dysfunctional your family is. So
I want to say one thing before we get into our show. To all our listeners out there, old and new, for the old ones there, the OGs, now it's been, well, we're a week short, but we have to say it's been 5 years. The Curfew Boys have been live. 5 years.
Is it? It's pushing 5 years.
Our
oh my God.
Episode was January 13th.
Well, Anthony, like, look what our buddy Elias just wrote. Playoffs. We started this podcast when the Canadiens fought to make the playoffs, and they had that very special run in the 2021 Stanley Cup playoffs. But 5 years already. Jesus Christ, where the heck does the time go? I don't know. I feel like we're still good looking since we started. So.
Yeah. I'm confused. No, hold on. We started.
No,
January
we're 2020. I think
we made the play, but we didn't go to the.
No, the first year I think we went all the way to the Cup Finals. Did we not?
We started this podcast after that first bubble playoffs. Like, we started this podcast like right after
January
that.
2020.
Was it January or no? Was it?
Yeah,
January 20. Oh my God, you're right.
Well,
it is 5 years. Oh my God, I know my math sucks, but Jesus Christ.
You guys confused as shit. I know I went to Mac, but fuck, man, I'm not that stupid.
So,
no, look, 2020 started. Here, January.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right. Wait.
No, Anthony, I think you're January 20. Was it 2020? No, I think it was October 2020.
No, you're January 13, 2021. It's only 4 years. Sorry, I just made myself look like a fucking idiot. We started in 2021.
Dude, it feels like 5 years. I mean, look, in your defense, it's
fuck, man.
in your defense, this is season 5, so we'll just leave it at that. Listen, there's a reason why we suck at math, and Like I just got a text now. Somebody's listening. My better half just texted. It's like, guys, it's 4 years. Get your shit together. All right, thanks, babe. Appreciate it.
Katrina.
Whose side are you on? Listen, there's no denying that this city is siding with its favorite hockey team right now at the moment, and you know what? We were all approaching. We ended 2024 on such a great note, beating the two teams in Florida, beating Vegas the way they did. And, just those 3 wins alone, those were 6 massive points. 2025 starts. We already look at the schedule. Chicago, back-to-back to Colorado. That was a Friday, Saturday. Coming back home tonight on Monday. The first home game of 2025 after this long road trip against the Vancouver Canucks, who are still an excellent team despite them having injury issues. And you know what? 4 out of a possible 6 points for now. Probably not the way we all expected. I think a good part of us expected a win in Chicago because they are the last place team. Didn't happen that way. They outshot the Blackhawks, but discipline issues and maybe looking a bit rusty. Maybe they partied a little too much, the boys in Vegas, since they were there for New Year's Eve. Whatever it is, they bounce back. A gutsy performance by the boys in Colorado, which is super tough to play in. Like a road trip.
After a back-to-back, you would think you would beat Chicago and lose against Avalanche.
Right.
And when we lost against Chicago, I'm like, okay, we're still losing against the Avalanche, and we won. Again, just seeing this team play, I lost my train of thought.
It's different. It's different. There's a different vibe. You know what? Listen, let's recapping the month of December. They're what? They were 8-5 to the best of my memory. All that to say is they had a winning record. The month of December was a success. We looked at the month of January and we all saw, and everyone said it across the board, this is going to be the toughest month of their schedule, and it's going to determine so many things for this team, whether they make the playoffs or not, where they're going to be come trade deadline, blah, 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 blah. Totally right, Anthony. I didn't think they would beat the Colorado Avalanche. You look at Jakub Dobeš, like we got to give Jakub Dobeš a shout out here, boys. Like,
for him, buddy.
one goal in your first 2 NHL games against
top teams.
Two of the last 3 or 4 Stanley Cup teams. We
beat 5. Yeah, you were going to.
But that's it. We beat our aside from this win, the last 4 wins were all against the Stanley Cup champs from the past 4 years.
Yep. 5 years if you count Tampa twice over.
Tampa twice.
Sure, but let's count. I'm just counting Tampa. Just the 4 games. Tampa, Vegas, Florida, and Colorado. I mixed up the order, but whatever. Gutsy performance. They come back home tonight at the Bell Center. And you know what? Caden Gooley, he set the tone right at the start. That big hit, that hit that Caden Gooley delivered, that was classic, beautiful, old school hockey, like Scott Stevens hits when they were clean. If Scott Stevens were to play now, he delivered that hit now. It's clean. It was awesome. He set the tone right away. This game had a playoff vibe. Both teams played well, I found. And it's again this is a real gutsy performance. And I'm gonna finish what I have to say here. This game tonight, this win, let alone the other 3 wins on the road or the other 4 wins on the road against Colorado, Florida, Tampa, and Vegas. This win right now, to me personally, it sends a bit of a message to everybody else in the league that's like, okay, they're for real now. And one last thing I want to say, these are the games that this young team, we got to keep in mind, this young team, these are the games these guys needed to learn how to win, and they're doing it. And that was a bit of the expectation. Jeff Gordon said it at the end of that documentary, and we're seeing it right now, boys.
You said it, Sam, in our group chat, that, watching the last couple of performances, you would think, is the league taking advantage of, not taking us seriously, right? A young team, We're not making playoffs. They're taking us for granted. Like, oh, these guys are just playing around and rebuilding or whatever you want to call it. So they didn't go full force against us because they didn't think that they would lose, right? But now I think after tonight's game, the way they played, physical, the perseverance, down 2 goals in
Big
the
time.
second period, coming back. They came back from Vegas. They came back again tonight. Again, down 2 goals. We've never seen that in the past with the Habs. After you're down 2 goals, the game was over right there and then. We came back twice with a down 2-goal deficit and won the game in overtime.
Yep.
Like, to me, that's amazing hockey. And I think tonight, like you said, set the tone to the league, saying, "Hey, we're not fucking around here.
Yep.
We're now in the mix." We've been saying that, from the documentary that Marty and Gordon and Hughes said, this is the year we want to be in the mix. And they were like, "What the fuck? We're last place. What mix are we in?" Well, now you can finally say officially after tonight's game, the 2 points, we are now tied for second wild card.
Yep.
And you can officially say we're in the fucking mix. And one last thing, and Chris, I know you want to talk. I know, Katrina, if you're still listening, my math was bad, 5 years, 4 years, whatever it is. It felt like a lifetime of having this feeling of watching the Munch. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but tonight, sitting on my couch, watching this game after the last 4 or 5 years, whatever you want to call it, we're watching the Habs we all said it. We're watching just to see this team grow. No playoff feeling, no winning feeling. We're just sitting back watching the team saying, okay, I like what I'm seeing. There's going to be improvement next year. Tonight, watching it, it's like I finally get back that feeling of like, fuck, we're going to make the playoffs. Or we're trying to – that feeling is there again. Finally, after 4 – the last time we felt this was the 2021 run. We are the year 2025. It's been a fucking long time.
Yeah.
And I enjoy feeling this. The crowd tonight was on fire. Like you said, sorry.
They were buzzing. They were buzzing.
But I don't know, maybe you were right, or maybe it's not, but maybe it was a 7:30 game, so it looked like a full crowd, whatever. But tonight, watching the Bell Center, it felt like everybody's back in it.
Yeah.
In the past was, okay, here's free tickets, go watch the game, go enjoy your night out with your family, watch the game, watch the Montreal Canadiens play. Now you're watching fans sitting on their asses at this Bell Center, watching a team trying to fight for a playoff. I haven't seen this in a fucking long time. And in 2021, the stadium, the building was empty. So now we're finally seeing fans watching a team trying to. Oh, sorry, I'm babbling.
But it's true. Like fans, like without opening that can of worms of like the health and safety measures during the pandemic, but the fans got robbed of a Bell Center filled arena experience during the playoffs, and we've been there quite a few times, the three of us, during our lives. It's you cannot compare against any other city. I haven't been to any other city, but I don't care what Toronto Maple Leafs fans think or anybody anywhere else in the building. Had there not have been a pandemic, and let's say we made the playoffs, whatever, and went to the Cup Finals, the Bell Center would have been rocking for a Stanley Cup final. Anyways, go, Chris. I don't want to ramble and take up too much of your time either.
Well, I gotta ask you guys, what do you want me to talk about that you guys haven't already covered? I mean,
what did you like? What did you like about this game specifically, besides the win? Like, was there a specific player that stuck out to you that
Jesus? Lane Hudson, first star of the game, 3 points. He goes up against the guy who I think a lot of us consider to be the most similar in Quinn Hughes. I think that's Lane Hudson's eventual closest comparison. They may not be identical. One might have a better attribute than the other in particular regards. But all that to say, it was a 3-point night for Lane Hudson. Not to mention the chance that Gallagher completely missed, that beautiful setup.
Kirby Doc too. Yeah.
Yeah, not to mention the time that Lane Hudson got absolutely robbed by Vancouver's goaltender.
He was insane.
But like you said, like if you're going to ask me, I'm going to say what I liked about this particular game and what I liked about this run. You said it best. The league is on notice. You're playing against the best teams, and we beat them all. We beat fast teams. We beat bigger teams. We beat teams that, have been just absolutely dominant. And the big thing, if you're going to say, what do you like most about this game? I think Vancouver was already on notice. I think Colorado was already on notice with Montreal showing up. I don't think they were taking the Montreal Canadiens lightly. And they played a tight game. Then tonight,
Mhm.
Montembeault didn't, in my opinion,
Yeah, he looked rough.
he looked okay at best.
Mhm.
And nevertheless, they play an open game where they're high scoring. They could play a tight game like the one that they played in Colorado. Even in Chicago when they lost, they severely outplayed. They just got goalied. The other
Yeah.
team's goalie played better than Montembeault. And
Yeah, oh, yeah, he did.
if this keeps up, the one interesting thing is we're going to be having another goalie debate. Who's the starting goaltender in Montreal? Because Jakub Dobish is going to have gone from starter in Laval to backup to starter here in Montreal in no time.
Dude, I totally agree. And Lankinen, the Vancouver Canucks goaltender, he was insane. Like, if you look on paper, his stats really don't show good numbers. Like a .792 save percentage, 5 goals on 24 shots. But man, those saves that he made were actual key saves that this game could have ended in regulation for the Montreal Canadiens.
A long time ago.
Like the Canadiens, I think the only time they looked bad was maybe the first 10 minutes of the second period. And then when Caden Gooley got that goal back, that shift, I was really paying attention to Yoel Armia. And man, he battled to keep that play alive, and that he found the guys at the point. Listen, sometimes you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Caden Gooley, just throw it on net. You never know what could happen. And look, man, that goal gave some kind of life to the Canadiens. Had they gone down, had they started the third period down by 2 goals, it would have been tough. It would have been tough. But they were only down by 3-2, and it's you know what? This is the start of the third period. Even it's weird. This whole game, it didn't feel like they were out of it. It's one of those games again. Like the one constant thing that we notice about this team is maybe not this year, but throughout the past maybe 2-3 seasons during the rebuild, it's like there's certain games where like they may be down, but they're not out, and you feel like they could come back. But this year, more than anything, like they're making a fucking statement. It's like they're learning how to win those games. Like before, it used to be, yeah, we're fighting to come back. Oh, but we lose with the last 2 minutes of the game, or we lose in overtime, which was kind of the case last year. They were the team that lost the most games by just 1 goal. And a lot of them happened within the last like 3 to 2 minutes remaining in the game, or they lost in overtime. But this year, not this year. As of December, like they're winning these important games. The fact that not just the way it's the way they're winning pretty much. And I think the most impressive part about it is it's without their power play specialist in Patrick Laine, and it's without one of their best shutdown defensemen. Maybe not their best, but he's a key piece on defense, David Savard. They're winning these games without those two. It's 3 games now that they're not there. Like you beat a team like Colorado, and look, Vancouver Canucks, they're still a good team. And you win these games without them too. That to me says something.
Well, one of the big reasons why this is happening, and we have to talk about the guy, Jesus Christ, Kirby Dach doesn't look like the same player.
Man,
he looks like he did
so
in
happy.
training camp last year before he got injured. He looks like a dominant player. And that's we discussed about this point exactly. Up here, Kirby Dach flipped the switch.
Yep.
Suddenly he's on. And I don't care what anybody says. I'm sure you guys are going to be in agreement. The guy skates faster. The guy is more poised and patient with the puck.
Yep.
He knows what he's doing. He's dangling. He's going around players. Look at what he did in the shootout. Like, again, it's just like a guy who went from being completely hesitant, slow, doubtful, and then all of a sudden, he's just like, Don't get me wrong. Nick Suzuki had 3 points, scored the game winner, but like Kirby Dach with the puck looked just as good, if not better than Suzuki in most of the past games, which is crazy.
Well, you need that. You need your number 1 and number 2 centerman to perform. Like that's dude. I totally agree. Fuck, when he scored that goal, I don't care how lucky it was, how it trickled through the legs. But listen, get him how you can. The shootout against Colorado, that shows that not only does Doc have confidence in his game, but now Marty has confidence in his game too. It's a massive statement.
So we had said it many episodes ago when we were at the bottom of the standings and we all had somewhat given up on the season. Pretty much thought that this season was already a write-off. We had said another season where we don't have a healthy team and another season where Doc is still playing like the Doc we haven't seen yet, right? And we had said if we can finally get a healthy team and have Docs flip that switch, we have a chance here to wake up and turn the season around. And guess what? Liney comes back. The whole team is finally healthy. Not talking about right now. I'm talking about December. When was it when everything just turned around? Beginning of December.
Yeah.
I think it was the first time in 240 games, something like that. I don't remember exact stats.
Full healthy team. Yep.
First time Marty coached a full healthy Habs team.
Yep.
And from that moment on, we've seen nothing but progress, nothing but a team playing for each other and winning games. And from last place to now in the mix, second wildcard spot. And Doc, he didn't start off too strong, but now, he's finally woke up. We're finally seeing the Doc that we all wanted to see.
And imagine that. I still don't think he's 100%.
He's not 100%.
I still
imagine that. Imagine that. And imagine when Liney's back, because I know the whole COVID situation now, or the precaution that they're doing, but we're scoring goals. Like, I was scared when Liney was out. I'm like, fuck, now we're gonna go backwards again. But it's different this time around.
Mm-hmm.
Beginning of the season, when Liney got injured, you saw the whole team just collapse. Momentum wise. The life of the team and the life of the fans just completely died. Okay, and when Liney got pulled away against the Jets,
Columbus.
Columbus. I got scared. I thought that the momentum would have dropped again. That the fans would have just completely demolished their faith and everything. But no, the team continued to strive. They're still playing harder. And you could see it. We're still scoring power play goals without our fucking weapon. So imagine when he comes back. And like you said before, so battle when the Stanley Cup. Okay, we're not there yet. It's not dreaming colors. We can hope for that. We can put that in the universe, but that's not happening. I don't know. It's just Again, I don't know where I was going with this, but we're finally seeing a team, just the team that we all, guys, the beginning of this season, when we started our first podcast of the year, we all said this is the year where we're going to see the 30-goal scorers. We're going to see us trying to make the playoffs. And that didn't happen from the start. But now 2025, we're seeing that. We're in that part. I just, like you said at the beginning, hockey gods, I hope we can continue this momentum going up. I hope it doesn't go back down. But this is great. This is finally good hockey.
This team and this group of young players and mixed veterans, they have belief right now. There's a sense of belief in the air. There's a sense of belief in that locker room, and
it's the beard. It's Marty's beard.
I have no shame. I have no shame in saying this. Marty looks fucking sexy in that beard. I have no shame. I have a man crush on him now with that beard. And you know what? I hope he keeps it, because he's got a. If you saw highlights of him in New York when he beat us, when he roofed that goal against Dustin Tokarski in net, like, he had a massive playoff beard. The guy looks good, but no, Anthony. The feeling right now in the air is that there's belief right now, and it's the most important thing about this is that the key players are progressing and are leading this team. The core members of this team that this rebuild was based upon, they're all performing. Nick Suzuki's still performing. we'll get to one specific player, and I know Chris
One
has
that
something
needs
to
to turn it around.
It's okay though, but it's not the end of the world either. But Nick Suzuki is performing. Cole Caulfield, he's going to reach 30 goals for the first time in his career this season. Lane Hudson, the rookie, he's doing what he has to do right now. Kirby Dach finally waking up. Who else on defense? I mean, Caden Gooley is solid. Arbor Jack guy, he's doing what he has to do as well. And you're getting the veterans are doing what they're supposed to do, and Mike Matheson and Carrier, and when Savard comes back, like there's so many reasons to be excited. I want to talk a bit about.
Wait, you said something fast before we get into that topic, because I know what we're all gonna say. I don't know if you guys mentioned the last part. I don't think you did. I don't think we spoke about this yet, but what a difference also with Carrier in the lineup.
Oh, dude, we've mentioned it many, many times. Although he did make that one mistake tonight that led to 2-on-1, but it's okay. It's listen, mistakes are going to happen in a hockey game. Like we talked about Kirby Dach, like he's Kirby Dach. I love the way he's playing. I love like this comeback tour he's starting. He's still got to work on the giveaways in the offensive zone and in the neutral zone. He had 4 of them tonight, but you know what I mean. It's
you take the good with the bad.
Well, no, 1,000%. But the point I'm about to make now about Kirby Dach is, yeah, he does those giveaways, but he doesn't stay defeated in his own head anymore. He shakes it off, and he comes back, and he actually starts playing better and starts doing better things that help the game and help the team win. So, yeah, no, the trading for Carrier, we've mentioned this before. We're probably going to say this again, maybe, and hopefully till the end of the season. That was part of the turnaround. Patrick Laine coming back, making that trade for Carrier, that turned a good portion of the season around. Mm-hmm. So now I want to talk about Juraj Slafkovsky, and I know Chris messaged me earlier today saying he has something he really needs to say about him. He got an assist tonight. He got a point. He looked better than the recent games, but he's still not there yet. Not there yet. I don't mean he's not there. He still needs to work on those things that make him really dominant. And the thing the problem is we're so overthinking on what this kid has to do. There's only one thing he has to do, or make it 2 things. All he has to do is just move his feet and be physically go after the play, go after the puck. You don't have to. He doesn't have to get out of position to go after. Just move your feet, get physically engaged, get involved in the play. That's all he has to do. Once he does that, or really makes it a habit throughout his game for an entire season. Once he starts doing that, everything else is going to follow, and he's going to be a dominant player. He's only 20 years old, folks. Everybody's like, oh, it's 3 seasons now. He shouldn't. No. It doesn't work. He's 20 years old. Like, he's 20 years old, guys. Like, we need to chill out a bit. It's okay to be critical about his game recently, but to call him a bust is like, nah, guys, shut up. Stop. Go, Chris.
He's not a bust.
Go, Chris. I'm feeding you the one-timer on this one.
Well, all right, here we go. On that front, I think what a lot of the fans are battling is we got to see more of a glimpse of what we think Juraj Slafkovsky is going to be on a regular basis for the whole second half of last year. And the frustrating part is I think all of us had the expectation that he was going to come in and that he was going to be that hyper-competitive, go fetch the puck, bury guys into the boards, and take that leap forward and continue on in developing into a very good power forward in the league. I think, let's be perfectly clear here, anybody who thinks Juraj Slafkovsky is going to be a 50-goal scorer, enough. It's enough. He honestly is going to be a good power forward that should be scoring anywhere between 20 to maybe 35 goals on an exceptional during an exceptional season. But that's, I think, where we would stop. Now, with our expectations not being met, I know that's a hard thing. Even on my end, I've been hard on him because I hoped that he would be at least as good as he was in the back half of last season.
Mhm.
So I understand that frustration and I share that frustration, although I have faith that he's going to turn it around. Even Jeff Gorton and Kent Hughes outright said he is going to go through dips and valleys. That might not be the exact wording that were used, but he's going to go up and down. It's not just going to be a solid trajectory upwards to his peak self. It's going to be a battle. Even look at Cole Caulfield, learning other elements of the game, which takes away from the points. But even at that, Uri Slavkovsky, it's not only about the points. There's so many different things. Just let's hope he shakes off this hesitancy. Now, I have a really interesting thing, and this is what I wanted to share more than anything else. Let's reassure the fan base together. Do you guys remember which player Uri Slavkovsky was compared to when he was getting drafted? Like, when the draft is going on and they say Uri Slavkovsky. Do you remember the player?
I don't know why I have either. Everybody says Mikko Rantanen, but why do I have Marian Hossa in mind?
No, Mikko, stay on the Mikko Rantanen side.
Okay.
Okay. Rantanen. When he was, I have a whole sheet of stats. I have 3 players here. Mikko Rantanen, at 18 years old, he played 9 NHL games. He had 0 points. Uri Slavkovsky did better than that.
Okay.
At the age of 19, Rantanen played 75 NHL games. He only got 38 points. Uri Slavkovsky, again, was ahead of that. I have to say, Rantanen blew up in the following season. I think he scored over 80 points. I think it was 84 points in 81 games, something of the sort. But he took off after that. And let's be honest, he was playing with multiple other really solid players. Now, where can I reassure you guys even more? And this homework kind of came to like a pinnacle of realization to calm down. I'm going to list 2 players, give their ages and their points. Player 1, at the age of 19, he played 37 NHL games, 9 points. When he was 20, 72 NHL games, 51 points. The next season at 21, 82 games, 77 points, almost a point per game player. And then this player played 78 games and dipped down to 70. That's player A. Player B, 18 years old, 63 points. Incredible start. 19 years old, 38 points. 20 years old, 52 points. 21 years old, 53 points. And he finally had his breakout season at the age of 22. You want to know who these players' names are? Player A and Player B?
I'm going to name Player B. I'll name Player B.
Name Player B.
Oh yeah, Anthony. Anthony, who's Player A?
One of them is Jack Hughes.
Nope.
Okay, I think good guess, Anthony, because I thought Player A was Jack Hughes too. Player B, I'm going with Nathan MacKinnon.
I'm gonna hold. Any guesses? Any guesses on Player B, Anthony?
Say that again. I'm asked ChatGPT.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Okay.
Put that shit away.
Okay, so here comes the reassurance, guys. Player A was Leon Draisaitl, and Player B is Nathan MacKinnon. And let's be perfectly honest. Yeah, it was a great guess.
Because I know Nathan MacKinnon, his last 2 seasons before that breakout season, he was like, okay, he wasn't he was terrible based on his standards and projections and potential, but he still put up like fairly good numbers that most players would dream of. But yeah, I remember that. And a lot of people were like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, where's the Nathan MacKinnon they all wanted to see and hope for?
Well, can we be honest with one another and say Draisaitl and MacKinnon overall are better players, even though Draisaitl was not necessarily picked first overall?
He was a third overall pick, Draisaitl.
Nevertheless, these guys are generational talent players. Unfortunately, Slavkovsky is probably never going to reach these guys' level. Or these guys' respective levels. And all that to say is when they were between the ages of 19 to 20, even MacKinnon, who only blew up at 22, 23 years of age, he was having 50-point seasons, which is what Slavkovsky is already doing. So fans, even to myself, I had to look myself in the mirror and go, you know what? If Nathan MacKinnon is putting up, a guy who's supposed to be getting points, is putting up only 50, give this kid the chance to develop. Jack Hughes, although
Jack
not
Hughes
the
too,
right
yeah.
guess, is
Yeah.
another great player.
Yeah.
Some guys get it quickly. Some guys like Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, even Alexander Barkov, they had a great start to their career. They caught on very quickly in the league. They start putting up points and started doing what we expected of them, or what the respective teams expected of them. But nevertheless, for Uri Slavkovsky, like, the kid's really, really good where he's at. He should maybe even get into 60 points, the high 60s, if he continues on this pace. Just deep breath. Let him figure his stuff out. Don't run him out of town. Don't crap on him. It's a normal growing pain.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to my monologue.
Chris, go make a tea or fucking down a couple of halls, man. Get that throat fixed up and get that voice back.
Yeah, it's
no, well,
vengeance.
no, it's well said, and it's gonna be the ongoing battle, struggle, debate, because everybody now is looking at what Logan Cooley is doing, and even Shane Wright, what he's doing, and all that shit. It's like it's never ending, and I think a lot of the criticism is coming from these stupid trolls online and on Twitter that they're bipolar. They jump from one end and the other. If Slavkovsky gets a hat trick, they're going to preach that he's not a bust. But if he does a bad giveaway that leads a goal to the next game, they're going to say that we never should have picked him in the first place. That's Montreal for you. But as long as he remembers how he sold himself, but if he remembers the reasons why he was picked first overall, the meetings he had with Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon, he knows what the hockey market is like in Montreal. He's able to handle that pressure right now. I think the reverse thing is happening right now. I like Kirby Dach. He's got it so far fixed up here, whereas Slavkovsky maybe not so much. But it's gonna come. I'm honestly not worried about the kid. I'm gonna mention one thing though before the end of this episode about another drafted player from the Montreal Canadiens that I'm gonna have to defend too, because it's getting a bit out of hand. But no, that is you know exactly who I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to lose my shit probably live on YouTube and X to the point where not that we're going to get canceled, but who knows, we might get banned. But all that to say is like I'm so proud of these guys, the way they played tonight. Like super happy. It was a gutsy performance. Nick Suzuki with the game winner in overtime. The Canadiens 2 for 4 on the power play, so that gives them 50%. It's awesome, man. They got to keep going. And
we didn't really speak about this today, and not to open the can of worms about goaltenders, but I don't know if you guys noticed Monty not really on top of his game. I mean, there's a lot of goals that should have
not tonight. Yeah,
tonight he was a bit off. Now, I don't know. There was a lot of moments where he wasn't positioned properly. He wasn't quick enough. A lot of goals could have been easily saved. Again, I don't want to shit on him. He's a good goaltender, but he's not consistent. I'm not sure what's going on.
I don't know if maybe he's starting to feel the pressure of Jakub Dobeš. I mean, I don't think so. I'd be shocked if he's really feeling a bit of the heat. But I'm glad, Anthony, you bring up the goaltender topic within the Montreal Canadiens, because I sort of did a bit of research between how many games Jakub Dobeš played in the minors and how many games Caden Primo played in the minors before getting called up. And you know what? Jakub Dobeš's first season as a pro in the minors, he played over 50 games. I think he played like 51 or 52. There's 72 games in the minors. He played 2/3 of the season in his first year as a pro. Like, if that doesn't help you develop, I don't know what will. Caden Primo, it took him almost 3, and then he played another 10 games or something this season before being called up. So he has a total of like over 60 games played in the minors before getting called up. Caden Primo, it took him 3 to 4 years, something like that. the more I think about it, I think those two COVID seasons messed a lot of things up for a lot of people, and I think Caden Primo is a bit of a victim on that. The fact that he kept getting tossed up and down between the NHL and the minors, plus not playing that many games, I think that really hindered his development. Not hindsight is always 2020, but now that I'm looking back and like I looked at the numbers of like games he played one year, then the one after, and the one after that, going up and down between Montreal and Laval, like he never had. There was just maybe one season in Laval where he played over 40 games, and that was probably his best year with the Laval Rocket. They ended up going to the playoffs. They went to the second round too. Like that was it. And looking that after that season, it was like, okay, he's probably ready to make that jump. And then he gets caught in a fucking 3-goalie system. That's not going to help the kid. He needs to play. His first game this year with Laval, like he looked just as good as any other goalie, and they won. Like the Laval Rocket, they're going to be fine with Caden Primo and net. I know they're going to win games, and I'm pretty sure he's going to carry them to the playoffs. I still believe no matter what happens, his time here is done. And I believe he needs another chance elsewhere, Anthony, like you've been saying for a while now. But man, Jakub Dobeš, like like the stars are slowly aligning for what our goaltender tandem might look. Tandem.
And imagine they're saying that Fowler is supposed to be our superstar.
He is.
Okay, but Dobeš is climbing up to be that guy as well. I mean, we're gonna have another fucking situation of fucking Price and UA or Price and
Halak.
Price and Halak. Listen, Jakub, it's 2 games, 2 very fucking impressive games. Let's
I don't know.
manage the expectations, but a lot of people have said Dobeš probably should have made this team at the start of the season after training camp before Primo. The only reason why that didn't happen is because they didn't want to send Primo through waivers at risk of losing him. So yeah, no, it's awesome. It's awesome. Now the good thing,
have a good problem. Like we always have this problem. It's a good problem to have.
Yep.
But it's always why is it that we always have? I mean, since the Patrick Wall days, we always have the good goalies. We just don't have a good team in front of us. We always have the good goalies. Maybe things are going to turn around.
Maybe.
Chris, you have anything else you want to bring up?
I want to ask a question to you guys. So the Canadiens are off until Friday. That's another back-to-back game against 2 freaking strong teams. Again, this whole month is going to be very challenging. Friday against the Washington Capitals in Washington. Saturday against the Dallas Stars in Montreal. If you're Marty, who's playing when? And we all thought Dobeš was going to play against Chicago. That didn't happen. It was reverse. And look what the results were.
Oh, it's a good question.
It's a very good question because it's a big gap.
I would, you know what? It's gonna sound a little crazy, but I know I would say I would rather Dobeš play against the better team, which is Washington. So that would be the thing. But if they're playing in Washington, as you said, I think it's time to give Dobeš a reward and let him play in a home game.
I'm thinking the exact same thing.
He deserves to get a little love from the crowd, and
I think I'm going with that. I'm going with Monty Friday against Washington, Dobeš Saturday against Dallas. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that, but not for those reasons, because I didn't know they were playing home, and I didn't think of that scenario. So that's a good thing just to think of, like having him play at home for the first time. I was gonna say Monty Friday only because I always strongly believe keep the winning goalie in nets until he loses. So I think Monty deserves Friday's game just because he won again tonight.
But should they have put Dobeš tonight because he was winning?
I wasn't. I mean, I'm happy we won tonight, and I wasn't happy to see Monty's performance. But I think Dobeš deserved tonight. The guy won the last game. You do not sit out unless it's a back-to-back because of travel or tiredness or whatever. You do not change goalie. You don't change the goalie momentum. I think Dobeš should have played tonight. But that being said, give Monty Friday's start and then the home game Dobeš on Saturday.
So Anthony, you asked whether or not there was something that I wanted to add. There's two or three little elements that I wanted to add. Mike Matheson started this year on the power play and got a fairly long ride on the first power play before Lane Hudson took over. I think Marty's a guy that's going to respect his veterans. I think they made in a certain sense they made the promise to Montembeault to continue on. So I think Marty's going to continue to give the nod. He's also going to protect, in a certain sense, the younger Jakub Dobeš in his first experiences within the NHL. That being said, a little like the Hudson graduating and playing on the first on the top on the top pairing of the power play. I do think if it continues as such, like we said it's not only this game against Vancouver where Monty let in a few like okay goals. He did it against Chicago. He's been doing it
Mm.
rather frequently, and if 2 games is very short as an analysis, but just if you look at Monty on the overall, I see a lot of space. I see a lot of he has some fantastic games where he's very well positioned and he's in control and he's dialed in, but there are also a lot of games where I thought he was just out of place. Jakub Dobeš, even if he's a little bit out of place, he's so much bigger. We've already talked about that. He looks like he covers so
Yeah.
much more of the net. Even in the shootout, it was just the guy's
Yeah.
first shootout.
He gave Rantanen nothing. He gave
Nothing.
Rantanen nothing, not even a
And-
chance.
And so all this to say is I think there's something there. And the other elements that I want to add, I don't know if you guys saw the interview between Pierre Hood and Jakub Dobeš, but Jakub Dobeš, no offense to Montembeault, this kid has a very, very, very strong mind. And number two is that the young guys genuinely, I think they relate to him. They love him. You guys, we've talked about it a million times. There's Patrick Laine at 26, there's Nick Suzuki at 25, and there's a handful of guys at like 24, but most of them are 23 and younger.
Mhm.
Jakub Dobeš is 23. Like the relatability, and think about it this way. How many times have we had this many rookies? They don't have wives, they don't have kids. There's not this awkward, like, I'm staying over at your place and you're going to teach me how to be an adult. They are growing up together. These are the brothers creating a bond. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying that Jakub Dobeš fits in better than Monty because of his age. I'm just saying no. Jakub Dobeš is just another guy who's in the exact same boat as so many guys on this team, and he's only just another cog in this beautiful recipe of a team that's growing together and who seems that it's going to be fucking competitive for a lot of years to come. If there's one thing, like, I'm going to finish on this and mic drop it, but if there's one thing that I'm taking away, if these guys can genuinely play as well as they have been against the best teams in the league, and we haven't factored in Demidov, we haven't factored in Reinbacher, Sammy Wink,
You motherfucker.
if we haven't factored in Owen Beck, we haven't factored in Luke Tuck, we haven't factored in Florian Jacki,
Logan Mailloux.
we haven't factored in Mailloux, we haven't factored in Jacob Fowler. Like, all these guys are going to come in and fill pieces, and meanwhile, all the key pieces are establishing themselves so well and dominating.
That's
So
why
this
I
team is going to be
keep
a
saying-
fucking dynasty.
He said the same time, Jinx. That is perfect. Did you hear that at the same time?
It was, but
Perfection. I wanted to say something quickly.
it was part of the plan too by Gordon and Hughes. Go ahead.
No, but we've been saying this from day one. The only way you build a winning team is you said this from day one, Sam, in regards to building a team from the draft. Okay, a lot of Stanley Cup winners come from the draft, and that's a strong point, and I agree with that statement. But I've always looked at the other way as well, as building a team with chemistry and heart. Okay, and I know you laugh when I say that, Joey, and everybody, that heart, but just hear me out. That I keep repeating myself in many episodes, but you just said it, Chris. You know, like, we're building a bond. We're building a team, living together and growing up together like a family. Okay, look at Toronto. On paper, these guys should be winning fucking year over year over year. The Problem is, you're just putting a bunch of guys who have a bunch of talent who are making so much fucking money on the ice. And guess what? The New York Rangers 95, 96, 97, when they had no salary cap and they had fucking every superstar you can think of, they never won games with that because you have a lot of hotheads, you have a lot of ego on the ice, and you have no chemistry being built. Now you have a team that Hughes and Gorton is building, young guys growing up together, knowing their fucking ins and outs of living life. If you're great and close off ice, imagine how you are on the ice. Talent aside, you guys can back each other up. You guys know everything about each other on and off the ice. It's a fucking plus. Yes, Joey, you need the elite talent to win cups. I get that. But imagine you have that factor of teams growing up together, that bond, that chemistry that not a lot of teams have. That's what we're missing. And if we play this right, if we continue doing this, you just mentioned a bunch of names that are not even on the lineup yet, and we're playing well with this. Imagine next year and the year later, we could build a fucking dynasty. The Red Wings and the Blackhawks.
What's the one thing that Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon look for in a young prospect? They can have all the talent in the world, but what's the one thing they look for?
Character.
They look for character, and they look to see if you're going to gel and mesh well with the players that we have now that are all young. And like Chris mentioned, they're all in similar age. 1,000%. To me, and I'm not going to get into a bit of the Toronto Maple Leafs and the reasons for their level of no success, but in that Prime documentary, everybody saw it when Nylander was telling Matthews and Marner, guys, stop fucking bitching and start playing. That's one of the reasons why I don't think we have that problem within the Montreal Canadiens organization. Big Pete Spice said this, that we finally have a development system in place. What Pascal Vincent is doing in the minors, it's amazing with a guy like Owen Beck. And I'm just naming a random player here, but it's 1,000%. It's what it is. It's guys that have great character and they have great attitude. So
if you don't mind, I just want to, you guys really capture the point. I'm just going the extra mile. I think it's also an environment that a lot of young guys coming in are going to thrive in, because it's not. Don't get me wrong. Let's take it with Saku Koivu, Alexei Kovalev, Mike Komisarek, Andrei Markov. You're a rookie who walks into the room there. Half these guys have kids. Half these guys have family. I think it's a room where a lot of young rookies within the next 2-3 seasons are due to be stepping in. And when they do step in, they don't feel out of place in terms of where they are at in life.
And
yes,
maturity,
the bond. Yes,
too. Yeah,
exactly. Yes, the bond. Yes, their values. Yes, their character. Absolutely. Dead. Nail on the head. But it's also just, I think we're also creating an environment where young individuals come into a 2025 safe space and they feel like they can thrive because they don't feel like they're way out of place. Everybody's in the same boat.
And we're going to get to a point where you have Suzuki and Caulfield, who are going to be your veterans. Imagine how you have a team that your veterans are elite players at the age of 28. You know what I mean? It's amazing to see. But one thing, just kind of off topic, but the same similar topic about experience, because we also need that.
We need the veterans experience. You can't have a team without the older experienced guys to help you out.
This is where I'm going to lead to this next point. And we spoke about this, Sam and I, in I think the last episode we had, you and I. We added this question: where do you see Mike Evans by the month of March?
Jake Evans.
Oh,
there's news kind of sort of broke out that. Yeah.
Before you say that, you and I both said the way we've been seeing Evans play, building, he's having his contract here, right? So it looks like a player who wants to get paid more, or wants to get trade deadline and to add value for the Habs to build on their rebuild. So when we spoke, we were maybe 6-7 points away from wild card. And we had said, come March, if we're not in the fighting position of playoffs, then I don't want to. We both said this like this, word for word. We don't want Evans to go. We love Evans. Why? Maybe because of the 2021 run that we had. We have like a little love and for this guy, we don't want to lose him. Okay, Mike Evans. We don't want to lose him. So we don't want to see him go. But if we're not fighting for playoffs, we can add value to a trade for Mike Evans. Okay, Jake Evans. So that being said, now we're in the mix, and it looks like we're just keep fighting for that playoff spot. Now that means that I don't see my fuck. I don't see Jake Evans leaving, and you can say what
rumors. Well, there's rumors that they're in contract negotiations now, which is great. And I'm gonna say this: if it doesn't work out with Jake Evans, they need to find a replacement for him. They cannot rely on Owen Beck to take that spot, and they cannot rely on Oliver Kapanen to take in a fourth line role. You need.
But if we're fighting for playoff spot, you cannot get rid of Mike.
No. You can't get rid of Mike Evans, Jake Evans. No, you can't. You can't. Not the way he's playing now. Listen, I want him to come back because I want him to mentor an Owen Beck. Owen Beck is going to thrive under Jake Evans' his teachings. Okay, Owen Beck can learn from Jake Evans how to play that bottom six centerman role. They both played in Laval together, not together. They both played in Laval, so they had a bit like the same le cheminement, like they say in French, like the same path to the NHL, more or less. They both played in NCAA. No, actually, that's not true. Excuse me. No. Owen Beck never played in the NCAA. That's my bad. My point is that like the way they made their way into the NHL is more or less similar. Their roles are going to be similar too. Okay, so I want Jake Evans to stay so he can mentor a guy like Owen Beck. Okay. Having said that, it's got to be for the right price. Number one. Number two, the reason why I say that's because who knows if Jake Evans is going to have the same season again. This might be his peak, and then that's it. He might dip in terms of point production, not his play. But I'm telling you now, he's going to be, like we say how Alexandre Carrier, he's young, but he's a veteran. Jake Evans is in that same boat. There's the older veterans like Savard and Armia, and pretty soon, and Gallagher's there too. Josh Anderson's there. There's the ones at the ages of like 27, 28, 29. That's Jake Evans and Carrier. You need those guys too. And if they can't find a way to keep Jake Evans here, they better find another veteran centerman, more or less the same age, that still has quite a few good years remaining in his career. They need someone to mentor Owen Beck at that center role. Because I personally think it'd be bad management to have Owen Beck come in like that at a young age and give all that responsibility. I'm not saying he's not going to thrive under it, but here, look, this is a great question. I think, what if he compete for that second line set? Maybe. To me, I think he fits well third line. Even if you give him a fourth line role, it's not a bad thing. I personally don't think it isn't. If anything, I think Jake Evans stays at the fourth line, give Owen Beck the third line position. And next year, Dvorak is going to be gone. I cannot see him come back. You put Owen Beck centering Brendan Gallagher and Josh Anderson. That's pretty good for the kid. He's got two veterans next to him that he could help out and support. That's how I foresee things. But no, I don't think Jake Evans is going to get traded. I don't think anybody's going to get traded for as long as we're fighting for that wild card spot and being in the mix. The challenge, I said this last episode, the challenge is going to be for Kent Hughes to refuse some of these potential good offers if they come. That's how I see it. So
Sam, why don't you wrap it up with our
Well,
I'm Austrian friend.
Well, I'm gonna say this. Like, did you guys who here watch the World Juniors?
Didn't watch it all, but
like a shit show for Canada, and you know what? Actually, embarrassing. Before I finish off, to Bish Boy Steve, thanks for your compliments. Is really, really appreciative. Yeah, that was embarrassing, and it's I'm not opening up that political can of worms, especially the day that Canada had. But I feel like the bullshit that happened with Team Canada, it's just been a political disaster. It's just it's a metaphor like for everything that's been kind of like not going on well with Canada recently. And I'm not saying Team Canada lost the gold because of how our government works. I'm not saying that at all, not one bit. But there's still a bit of that, like there's too much politics that play into how they put this team together. Like it's all about like hurting feelings of people that are close because this player and that player, and you know what I mean. Can we just get the fucking best players on a sheet of ice? Pick the best ones. Doesn't matter if if it's their last chance at a gold medal. Stop picking a coach because he knows this guy or that guy, and you don't want to pick him because you don't want to hurt his. For fuck's sakes, like it's got to stop with the. Pierre Maguire said it best. Stop with the politics. Get the best people available. I don't see Dave Cameron coming back. I'm sorry, he cannot get the job done. When you bench a kid that's projected to go first or second or third overall in this coming draft, you bench him for 2 games. I don't know what the heck that's all about. Gavin McKenna, who's projected to go first overall in 2026, you don't give him an opportunity to perform well. Easton Cowan, he's going to be a great player. We saw him play live, but he's not a superstar player. He's not a player to carry a team. There was some selfish plays on him. I don't care if he's a Leafs prospect. My point in all this is that the Americans won. And a lot of the reasons why the Americans won is because one, they're so fucking strong. These kids played together since the age of like 10, 11, 12. The U.S. National Development Program has improved drastically. So these kids are coming in with the chemistry together. They know each other super well. They're all close friends. And you get an awesome performance by Cole Hudson, Lane Hudson's brother, was absolutely amazing, splitting image replica. And then you got a guy like Ryan Leonard, who is just out of this. I think he's going to be a great player. And for fuck's sakes.
Caps prospects, both.
Yeah. Ryan Leonard. And then even you want to add in another defenseman, Sandin Pellikka, prospect for the Detroit Red Wings. Congratulations to the Americans. My point in all of this was that after the Americans won and we saw how Ryan Leonard playing, some moronic people out there all of a sudden decide to once again go after David Reinbacher, saying, how the heck did we pick David Reinbacher when we should have picked Ryan Leonard or Sandin Pellikka? Hindsight is always 2020, but for fuck's sakes, people, can we lay off the fucking kid? The poor, like, he's injured. He can't even play to defend himself. I'm still heartbroken to this day that David Reinbacher is injured and cannot be part of that winning feeling with the boys on the ice with the rest of the guys in Laval. Because if he was there, I'm telling you, like, I could bet every dollar I have in the bank, or I could bet my left nut. I don't care. He would play. He'd be playing well. Like for God's sake, his first goal in the American Hockey League, like, is one of the nicest goals out of all the Laval Rocket players from last year. That toe drag out of nowhere. The kid can play. Can we lay off of him, please? Like, it's already bad enough. We're going after him because we picked him over Mishkov. Okay, and now that Demidov is performing and tearing it up in Russia, maybe we could be like, oh, okay, we don't have Mishkov, but we have Demidov. Now, all of a sudden, because Ryan Leonard wins the gold medal, the last 24 hours was like, well, how the heck could we pick David Reinbacher over Ryan Leonard? Jesus fucking Christ. When's it going to end, folks? It's enough now. Lay off the fucking kid. Wait till he plays a couple of years on defense, which is a much tougher position than a forward, okay? Stop it. It's enough. And I get it. I get that. I truly believe it's from people that are not fans, and they're from other fan bases. Their feelings, I don't give a shit. I really couldn't care. But if they really are Habs fans, are like, oh, that David Reinbacher is gonna be a bust, we should have picked that. It's like, shut up. It's enough. Do you people not realize? Yeah, you people. I said it. Not realize how defense wins championships. And this kid's gonna be one of those pillars on defense. I don't care if he scores 0 points. If he gets guys out of the crease, if he blocks shots, if he fucking helps them win, if he helps out his goaltender, I can't wait for one day. I can't wait the day that we win the cup. And if David Reinbacher is going to be in that lineup, I can't wait for him to have the last laugh. It's like since day one, like he's probably out of all the prospects we have, we talk about character and good personalities. Out of everybody we have in our pool, he's probably the nicest kid on the fucking planet. And since he got picked already, he it doesn't stop. He got criticized. Like the poor guy, didn't even have time to take his jacket off his suit that he was getting criticized. Again, not from true fans, but there's moronic people out there that root for the logo behind me, yet say stupid shit. They think they know hockey. They really don't. They really, really don't. If you go ask teams like St. Louis, when they won the cup, when Vegas won the cup, even when Florida won the cup last year, like if you think about it, their defense was rock on solid. And David Reinbacher is going to be one of those. I don't care what anybody says. On that note, guys, I know it's late. Everybody, I know it's late. For those that are still sticking around late for us, can't tell you how appreciative we are of this. We got an awesome tweet from Habs Reddit on Twitter complimenting the work we do for you guys, for everybody. Like it actually warms the heart. I'm not an angry person. I promise you all. I get it. I got triggered. I got triggered again. And you know what? It's gonna happen for 24 hours, and then it's gonna die down because people are gonna forget about Ryan Leonard for now. So it's a bit in the sense. Who's this? Good night, pizza guy. Big pizza pie. Thank you. I call him pizza guy. Sorry. It kind of follows the same line with Slavkovsky guys. They not us. We know this, but to the listeners, management did their homework. They keep doing their homework. They're doing something. Like if we think this is good now, imagine what things are going to be when the players we pick to bring this team to the promised land, they reach their prime and reach their potential. We could be dangerous. We could be a dangerous team and for many seasons to come. That's all I got, folks.
Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, on Instagram. Give us an honest feedback and review. Always welcoming of the criticisms. Trying to drop a few less F-bombs according to the last criticism, so appreciate that. And always on the lookout for great prospects like Mike Evans to continue his solid play, right, Anthony? Yeah, guys, thank you for sticking around with us in 2025. And as said, feel free to follow us along any one of the platforms. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts. Apple Music. We're not quite there yet, but
Apple
we'll get there.
So yeah, one thing. I know I usually ask folks on Instagram. Speaking of Instagram, if you follow us and if you send us your thoughts and comments pre-episode, we will play them on. Look, we only got 4 of them, and that's okay. Dawes Garage, we are making playoffs. Bone Zone has arrived. My God, hot piss, baby. Whatever that means. Chris 961, yeah, baby, wow. Angie _Mancini, Lane the Train has to win the Calder, and that leads to Phil.ota Hudson Calder with a question mark. Hey, listen, I haven't checked the stats, but he's probably up there tied or past Mishkov, so anything's possible. He's guaranteed getting a nomination for it, though.
Yep.
Chris, thanks for ending it off. Like Chris said,
my best.
Bish Boy Steve, more F-bombs. And to that, I salute you, Bish Boy. Like Chris said, thank you all. Anthony, I don't know if you have anything else to add. If not,
I'm not sure if it's updated, but Lane Hudson is number 1.
There we go. Lane Hudson, number 1, ranked number 1. Let's hope he keeps that going. We don't want Mishkov to win it or else I'm going to have to come to Rybacher's defense again. So, well, look, since Chris ended it off, thank you once again. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on all the other accounts that Chris mentioned. They are all free. It does not cost you anything to join the Curfew Boys and be part of this Habs community that we're building. Gentlemen, go get some sleep. Chris, get that throat fixed so we can have that sexy voice back. And
I don't know.
Yeah.
This one kind of like I think I like this a little bit more. It's
Okay.
you
Easy
never
there.
know.
Easy
Ooh,
there,
baby.
Batman. Easy there. All right. Friday night, boys, against the Washington Capitals, and then back home Saturday against the Dallas Stars. Gentlemen, have a good night. Get some rest. Until then,
Bye now.
bye
Bye
now.
now.
Good night.
Dynasty.